Hello and welcome to the presentation of my EDU3011 Assessment 2 Writing Pedagogical Strategy. My name is William Graham and I'm a future educator studying at La Trobe University in Bendigo. Today I'll be providing you with some key information and insight on how you as educators may want to teach your students about how to effectively and efficiently summarise a passage of writing or text. The aim of my presentation is to bring to light some effective pedagogical strategies that you as educators may incorporate into your classroom. A summary can be defined simply as a brief statement that outlines the main points or ideas of a passage of writing. This can be delivered orally or written. If I were to give you a passage of writing, such as an article out of the newspaper, and say, summarize it for me, do you think you'd be able to do it? Do you think you would think that I think that you did a good job, or would you struggle with the ambiguous nature of the task? Would you know how formal or informal I'd want you to write the summary? Would you know how much detail you needed to go into to successfully achieve the task? Now imagine you're back in grade one and are asked to just summarize the book you've just read. How daunting could that be for a student at that age? The first step in introducing students to summaries is that you need to be precise in what information you want them to identify or discard. When introducing summary writing, students, teachers should understand the complexities of the task first. Bloom's taxonomy ranks different cognitive abilities into 6 different categories. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Summary writing falls into the understand category, which involves explaining ideas and concepts. Once students are able to understand the complexity of summary writing, then they're going to be better equipped to actually begin introducing it into their classroom. The way I begin this lesson sequence is to introduce students to identifying the main ideas of the passage of writing. Why start here? Beginning with the basics of summary writing, such as identifying the main idea through understanding concepts such as topic sentences, will go a long way in allowing students to begin succinctly identifying the main ideas of pieces of text. We begin the lesson at this point of identifying topic sentences because, at its simplest form, a topic sentence is just basically a small bare-bones summary. We're reading and identifying the main points of the section of text. Students that can begin to effectively identify the main point of a passage of text can begin being able to distinguish and identify what should and what shouldn't be included in the summary you're asking them to write. Moving on from identifying topic sentences and the main ideas or points of a passage of text, I'd now want to progress this sequence of learning into showing students how to identify and discard unessential information when writing summaries. Writing summaries is such an important aspect of each student's writing development. According to the Writing Revolution by Hochman et al. 2017, students who practice summary writing have boosted comprehension and cannot just paraphrase, but are able to do it accurately and concisely. Through progressing our sequence of learning this way, students can reap the rewards of what I've just mentioned throughout the entirety of their schooling. This middle section of our lesson sequence is all about scaffolding students in a way that they can begin to understand what is needed and what isn't needed of their summaries. Educators during this sequence are encouraged to scaffold their students through asking open-ended questions and utilizing sentence expansion techniques. Giving students opportunities to utilize sentence expansion techniques can assist in students being able to dissect and analyze what pieces of information are needed and which aren't. An important aspect of summary writing in this phase of the learning sequence is actually identifying what type of summary you want your students to write. Is it going to be short and to the point, or is it going to be long and informative? For students to begin to actually identify what they do and don't need in a summary, it's your obligation as an educator to give them a concise outline of what you want from their piece of work. To finally round off our lesson sequence, we'll need to understand the different types of summaries there are. Acknowledging and understanding that there are different types of summaries needed for different tasks will become so beneficial not only for students, but for you as an educator. As an educator, understanding your students can summarize a text into a concise sentence, but also summarize something into a deep and informative piece of writing can assist you in understanding what level of understanding your students have of not just summarizing, but the information and text you're supplying them with. Why teach students different types of summarizing? The summary sentence outlined in Hochman et al. 2017 provides a template for students to summarize a particular text. This particular type of summarizing technique provides students with the opportunity to discover the main ideas of the text, providing them with a potential start to a more in-depth summary. The final technique is the single paragraph outline. This technique provides students with a plan to a more in-depth and informative summary. With these two techniques, students can be able to dissect, analyze, and distinguish information in a way that provides you as an educator and insight into their level of understanding of summarizing and writing as a whole. For my resource, I've chosen to create a simple reference slash information sheet for educators that may be finding summarizing a little confusing to introduce to their students. Summarizing can often be overlooked, but my thought was to bring to light the options educators have when introducing summary writing to their students. The resource I've created can be used pretty much by all educators. The two summarizing strategies I've detailed in the resource and my broader oral presentation provide differentiated approaches for students of all skill levels. For example, an educator of Year 2 students could refer to VCAR 2022 and see that students in her year group are beginning to be able to create and write informative texts such as summaries. They could refer back to my resource and understand that utilizing the summary sentence first would maybe be more beneficial than starting out on a single paragraph outline technique. My resource was designed in a way that can be used to easily identify the pros and cons of each strategy compared directly with an educator's particular student. And then you'll find at the bottom of my uh, uh, oral presentation here, I've attached the um, guide to introducing summarizing, where I've split it up into why teaching summarizing, single paragraph outline, summary sentence, which is right for you, and some curriculum links as well. Um, that should all be attached there. Um, thank you so much for listening to my oral presentation, and thank you.